Okay, let's talk about our lived human experience. There's such a wide variety of experiences day to day. And sometimes those experiences are really quite challenging, can be very difficult. Things that occur that we would really rather did not occur. There can be quite intense experiences here. You want to honor that is the nature of this place. And sometimes those experiences that we don't want to be occurring can pull us in, and we get captured into quite a potentially prolonged flow of suffering in those types of human experiences. There's such a wide array of things that occur that we wish wouldn't occur here. It can be quite intense. And so in the ancient lineages, they speak to this, and they refer to this realm that we're all experiencing together, this human earth experience. They refer to it as a Tapas Loka in the ancient lineages. This is something I learned when I was at the ashram. Tapas Loka. Loka is a Sanskrit word for an English word like realm or place. Tapas literally means heat. And if we take it a little further and let it be a little bit more nuanced, we could add the word transformational to the word heat. That it is a transformational heat that we experience when those unwanted occurrences happen. They can be quite intense, and we tend to resist them, and it creates a lot of friction in the field, and there can be a lot of suffering when we resist it, when it's something that we don't want to be occurring. That creates a heat, and it can potentially then be transformational heat if we let it be. That's the meaning of Tapas Loka, that earth is a transformational heat realm. If we're open to it and available to it and turn toward the heat of an unwanted experience and go right into it, let ourselves directly experience it. Where do you feel this in your body? The living practice that I invite everyone into is a way of honoring the tapas of this realm, of this loka. If we're willing to just turn toward the disturbance and honor it, that's a way of letting our lived experience be a way of ever more opening to our true essence by being willing to face the disturbances rather than moving away from them. When we were learning about this at the ashram, as the Swami began to describe this to us regarding tapas, all of my attention was drawn inward. My eyes closed, and I was having an inner realm experience. I could feel myself arriving into a particular environment where it was very dry, and I was now in my body, laying on my stomach on ground that was very parched and dry and cracked red clay dirt. And I was dying of dehydration. I could feel the death coming. And it's very painful, it turns out, to die of dehydration because you're becoming solid matter. And I was in the throes of this death from dehydration, and I lifted up my head and noticed that all along I had been laying right beside a river and didn't even know it. I raised my right arm with this last bit of energy to scoop up some water and drink it, and suddenly there was a pan in my hand, like you would cook soup in, and I scooped up a whole bunch of water and brought it to my mouth to drink it, and I noticed that this water from the river was filled with impurities. I couldn't drink it. It would just make me sick and I would die from the impurities in this water. And I was aware in that moment that this water originally had been very pure from the spring that it had come from deep in the earth. But in its journey of the flow within the river, little by little, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, as it flowed in this river, it picked up impurities. Like us, we live these human lives, and we have so many experiences in our life river where we pick up these limited thoughts and beliefs, like I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy. We have experiences that are really intense, and we tend to contract around those and carry all kinds of energies in our body from those very intense, unwanted occurrences. Those are the equivalent to what I noticed in the water, in the pan. And I realized I couldn't drink it. It wouldn't be beneficial to me. Instantly, this vision shifts, and I'm standing in front of a gas-burning stove with 4 burners, and I turn the right front burner on high flame. And I put my pan of water on this high flame to heat it. It will be heat that will allow the impurities to be boiled off. As I'm standing there witnessing this water begin to heat up, suddenly each of the individual H2O water molecules that make up this water reveal themselves. I now see all the individual H2O water molecules, and they are burning and suffering and mad and yelling at me because they know that I am the one that has put them in this situation. And they are yelling and screaming and feeling like victims and wanting me to turn the heat off, and how dare I do this to them, and why would I do this, and we don't deserve this. And the perspective I'm in is different than the perspective they're in. The perspective I'm in is that I have to be willing to let them go through this heat. It is the most loving, caring, compassionate thing I can do, is to let them go all the way through this. As it continues to get hotter and hotter for them, they're even more upset, more angry, yelling, screaming, blaming me, and telling me that I have to turn off this heat, pleading with me. And I'm aware of what they're going through. And I'm also aware that this is how they will return to their natural state, by going through this. And so I let it continue. And eventually, I'm aware that all of the impurities that they gathered along their journey in the river were now boiled off. I turned off the heat, and they're now standing there, each of the little H2O water molecules, with their hands together in front of their little H2O water molecule hearts in Namaste Mudra, thanking me. Thank you so much for not turning off the heat. Now we have returned to our natural state. and we can be inherently beneficial to others. Wow. I opened my eyes and looked at all of us gathered together that day, learning about tapas from the Swami. And I was aware we are the H2O water molecules, and we are in the pan, and there will be heat. And if we are willing to be available to it and not move away from it, not distract from it, not pretend it's not occurring, all the strategies of our wanter. Remember, this is the nature of our wanter. It's always going to try to move us away from discomfort to ensure our survival. That's its role. If we're cold, it will try to move away from the discomfort of the cold temperature and move us to a warmer temperature to ensure our survival. If we're too hot, it will try to move us to a cooler location. If we're feeling hunger, the discomfort of that, the wanter will try to get some food for us. If we're thirsty, it will try to find water. This is the nature of our wanter. It will always try to move away from discomfort. Regarding our feelings that we gather up along the way in our journey, it's essential that we are willing to turn toward the disturbance. Go right into the heat. And it turns out by being willing to go right into the heat of the sadness, of the loneliness, of the frustration, the anger, the resentment, whatever it is. Remember, all of these come from whenever anything's not going how our wanter wants it to go. That's what creates these contractions. If we're willing to go right in there, be available to it, allow it to be directly experienced without any agenda. We're not trying to solve it or fix it. We just let it be directly experienced. And be available to it. And remember that we're also the awareness of that sensation in the body. Little by little, that heat of that disturbance will start releasing and uncontracting. It will take however long it takes. We have to be willing just to be fully available. But eventually they start releasing themselves when we bring no agenda and we just let ourselves directly experience. They start to uncontract. This is the living practice. And what we start to then realize is by being willing to go into these contracted energies, we start to realize that those two are Chitti Shakti, the source energy in a contracted state. So by being willing to fully go in to those energies like frustration, annoyance, anger, sadness, loneliness, whatever it is, it will reveal itself as it uncontracts to have all along been source energy contracted, and it releases, and then we open up into the expanded truth, the simplicity of eternity. Tapas is a portal into the wholeness. From the inside, we go right in and through, and we reveal that that contraction was actually a temporary expression of the infinite source of all existence that permeates everyone and everything at all times.